Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. One of the season's most eagerly awaited theatrical events is the Royal Shakespeare Company's production of Wolf Hall Parts 1 and 2, which is running in repertory here at the Winter Garden Theatre. And I'm here on the opening day, opening night red carpet, where the stars came out to celebrate. So you excited today?
Very excited. I'm excited for a good day of solid theater today, so I'm excited.
A double header.
Double header, and very rare you get that on Broadway, so I'm excited to be invited to come to both. So, yeah.
How well do you know this whole time period of King Henry VIII?
Well, it's been told a few times in different versions, movies and Shakespeare. So I think it's ripe with intrigue, and I've been so excited to see this after hearing about it from across the pond. I'm just really, really excited to get in there and see the show.
What have you heard?
I heard it's brilliant. I'm just fascinated with their ability to condense a lot of storytelling into these next 6 hours. So I just want to see what that's about. And I heard the acting is phenomenal.
No one does it better than the Royal Shakespeare Company.
I think they've got a bit of reputation. So I think I'm happy to come and support them and see what's going to see. So
this takes place during the time of King Henry VIII.
Right.
If you could live in any other time, what time would you want to live in?
Oh my gosh, that's a big question. I think around that time, or it's because it was so. Things changed within days of each other, and the intrigue and people have always been obsessed with kind of the lineage of the empires competing with the French and the Spanish, and so I think it's a fabulous time. I'd go straight there.
But I think I'd want to be rich, right?
well, I guess some of the artists, the best artists are the ones writing about the rich who were killing themselves.
Okay.
So I think it's good to be on both ends. So there.
I asked people that before. They're like, the French Revolution during Les Mis, but I'm like, I think you'd want to be rich during that time period too, right? You wouldn't want to be poor living in the streets, right?
Exactly. You don't want to be stealing a loaf of bread. I'd rather not be doing that. So being the ones in charge is great. Yeah.
And just being here for a Broadway opening, especially something as exciting as this, what it means to you.
It's totally exciting, because I think it's very rare that you get something so celebrated that is successfully brought over from London. And I think, because I was in London last year for the Here Lies Love opening at the National, and I heard everyone was talking about Wolf Hall, and so I'm excited that it's here, and I'm excited that we can come and support it.
What was that experience like of taking your show over to London?
Well, I wasn't a part of it. Like, the National opened it, but they were nice enough. Alex Timbers was nice enough to invite me over to be a part of the opening and just to support, and to the brilliant number of actors who opened the Here Lies Love and the National Theatre. You can't really beat that. Just like the Royal Shakespeare Company, you can't beat that either.
Because I always call them shows that stars, or at least you helped create that show. So I'm always like, it's your show, part of your show.
Definitely, it's a big piece of my heart is in Here Lies Love, and it will be. And I'm glad that we have the recording, and I'm glad that the show affected and touched as many people as it did.
So congratulations! It is opening day, opening night on Broadway. How do you feel?
It's very exciting. We never thought when we started off on this long journey that these plays would be arriving on Broadway. And maybe if we had thought that, they wouldn't have come, It's very exciting. The cast are really thrilled. It's wonderful to be telling these huge, epic, funny, moving stories here, on the big white wave.
What has the whole experience been like for you with working on these plays?
It's very Shakespearean. Because they are both epic and intimate. They have huge casts, and they in mining them for both the comedy and the tragedy within them, and telling a story that you think you know, but telling it in a way that is unfamiliar to you and surprising is part of the joy of doing them, I think.
You have the most brilliant cast. Talk about the cast you've assembled.
Well, I mean, we are very, very lucky to have Ben Miles as Cromwell. What a star! I remember when Ben was understudying Romeo at Stratford years ago, and now he's the star of this great epic. And having Lydia Leonard as Anne Boleyn and Paul Jesson as Cardinal Wolsey, it's just a fantastic team. And I think pulled together brilliantly by Jeremy Herrin, who's marshalled the troops of this as if it's the West Wing, the Tudor West Wing. I think that's what's so exciting about it.
And talk about the other Royal Shakespeare Companies, the films that have been coming, the live broadcasts of all your productions, so beautifully done.
Well, thank you. We've started. We're working through the entire canon of Shakespeare's plays, and we've been doing each of them as a live broadcast and streaming them into schools in the UK, which has been fantastic. It's taken the level of capture of these things to a completely new level, I think. So it's a very different experience, and I hope that more people get to see the RSC, get to see Shakespeare, and hopefully they'll come to Stratford having seen it come from Shakespeare's hometown, as it were.
What is so wonderful about the films is, in the beginning you have them talking to the director before the show starts. At the interval you have the set designer. I mean, you show the whole scope, like when you watch these evenings.
I think part of the joy of working at the Royal Shakespeare Company is the deep sense of craftsmanship, and we like to celebrate that, whether that's the composers, the great composers, the set designers, the people working on the costumes, the people working on the armory. What other theatre company has its own armory? And that's part of the joy, I think.
What has the whole experience been like for you being in New York and having Wolf Hall here?
It is so exciting. I've just seen some of the company before the show, and they can't quite believe that we started in Stratford and that we're now here. And Broadway in New York seems to have welcomed us with open arms, and we're so excited. We're so excited to show this fantastic plays that were created in Stratford and are now here. It's like the shows are on steroids. They've grown to where they need to be, and now we've reached New York, and they've got really big and really exciting and really adventurous, and we're just thrilled to be able to show them.
And for you, what has this whole experience been like for you with working on the plays and having them here on Broadway?
Well, exactly as my friends and colleagues here say, it's exciting, it's thrilling. I think what's really important is the thread that both Greg and Zoe talk about, is that this, Matilda just down the road, the live from screenings are just extending our audiences enormously, and more people literally across the world are seeing what we do and what we make back in Stratford in the heart of England, and that's a real thrill and very special for us.
It's funny that you say that, because everybody just hears about the Royal Shakespeare Company. It's just so nice that, that people who can't afford to go over there can now experience it here in New York and across the country and in schools.
I think that's great, and I hope it does encourage them to come to Stratford and see the whole breadth of our work, because we don't just do Shakespeare, when we don't just do Jacobean plays, we do modern plays like this, which is an adaptation of two great novels, or we do new work. We've just opened a play about Oppenheimer, we're doing Death of a Salesman in Stratford at the moment. It's RSC is very America pro, because we're doing those two great plays, and that's been fun.
How excited are you to be here today?
Oh gosh, I am just thrilled. I love the novels, and I'm so eager to see this production. I'm just thrilled to be here.
What they have done for the British, you've done for the Americans, so I'm sure you're dying to see what they've done, right?
Well, I do like the epic theater. There's no question about that. And this is such great material, and Jeffrey Richards and company, wonderful producers, so it's a great combination. I think New York audiences are really in for a treat. I know I am, and I'm happy to be here.
What do you love about this time period?
Well, the complexity and size of the emotions, the personalities are so extraordinary, so vibrant, so demanding, charismatic. I mean, it's a hinge point in history. Of course, everything changes for the Roman Catholic Church, for England, etc. But the human anguish and passion and love and suffering, I mean, it's just great theater.
This takes place during the time of King Henry VIII. If you could live in any other time, what time would you want to live in?
Oh gosh, that's tough, but I would think probably the Italian Renaissance.
Why that?
Well, it's just there's so much fantastic art happening, and the world is changing in every way around you. I just think that would be a fantastic place to be.
How excited are you to be here today?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. It's so fun to spend a day in the theater with the Brits doing what the Brits do the best, telling their stories. So I'm really, really excited about it.
What do you know about this time period? Are you fascinated?
I am fascinated. I mean, I spent some time in England when and I at the Tower and all of that, and the stories are I'm glad I didn't live then.
Because I've been asking people, if you could live in any other time period, what time period would you want to live in if you couldn't live now?
Well, I love the whole. I have to say, I guess from like doing ragtime and that, I love the turn of the in the Industrial Revolution and all that sort of stuff. Such an interesting time, not only for America but for women and all of that sort of thing too. And I guess I tend to go there. I would not have wanted to be one of the Tudors.
Not even if you were rich, I told somebody.
Well, you get your head chopped off.
Totally.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
But this lends itself to such epic theater. I'm fascinated by this story.
I cannot wait to see what they do with it. I can't, everything, the clothes, the storytelling. It's going to be really fun.
Now, your husband is getting ready to open in the musical to end all musicals, The Visit. How excited are you for that?
Oh, I'm so excited. I saw the first preview. Well, I saw it in Williamstown. I saw the first preview, and it was phenomenal. They'd already done some great changes from Williamstown, and now they're still tinkering with it every day. And Chita Rivera is, it's just, you have to see it for her alone. But the story is so compelling and so haunting, and John and Fred's score is beautiful, and Terrence's adaptation of the play is wonderful, and Roger and Jason and the whole cast is Mary Beth Peel and Rick Holmes. It's a great company, and I just think it's something you've never seen, and that's one of the things I absolutely love about it.
I've been following your husband's tweets and his Facebook.
Yes.
He's like an 8-year-old kid. He is so happy and so excited.
He is so excited, and he loves posting those pictures of his makeup and all of that stuff, and he's writing his digest, and it's all great. It's all good. Yeah, he likes the tweet and the Instagram.
How excited are you to be? A double header.
A double header. I plan to be in complete immersion of total British theatricality. That's my goal of the day.
I cannot wait. I'm seeing it today and tonight too. It's just exciting to see a double header.
Yes. Well, it's exciting to see a double header. It's exciting to see British theater in the sort of classical sense that I can understand. I'll be honest, sometimes when I'm watching Shakespeare, I kind of lose track of it all. So this will be great. This will be really fun to watch the kings and all the nasty stuff going on and understand it.
How well were you It's only in New York, right? How well were you versed on this whole time period and what you love about the Tudors and everything?
Oh, well, I guess I know what most people know. Henry VIII changes the way we look at the world and changes the whole culture. The Reformation is exciting time, change in the way people believed. It was actually the beginning of the modern era, and of course laid the groundwork for Shakespeare and all the guys we love. So, yeah, it's right on the edge of myth. So we don't quite exactly know what was happening. So this is a chance to, I guess, get a fresh look.
This takes place during the time of King Henry VIII. If you could live in any other time period, what time period would you like to live in?
Any time period I could live in? I would live in California in the 1950s, for sure. That's where I would live. Hopefully, I don't know if Henry VIII was around that time, but I don't think he was. But
first of all, it is so great to see you together.
Thank you.
How long have you known each other?
63.
62.
1963.
Because you replaced her in Barefoot in the Park.
But I was her understudy first.
Yes.
And the first time I went on, she was writhing in pain on the bed, or the couch in the dressing room, and I was writhing in fear at the dressing table.
So we've done a lot of writhing together since then.
Yes.
Well, tell me about writhing. How excited are you to be here today for this?
Well,
oh my God.
I remember reading the books, and it was one of those things where I canceled everything because I couldn't put it down. I almost broke my Kindle, and then I saw the first one of the PBS series last week. I just can't wait.
Yeah.
Penny,
and of course, I played Anne Boleyn and Elizabeth
in Rex.
Yeah. And so I did a lot of history studying because I'm basically an actress and not a singer. So I studied it very hard so I would know the history.
This takes place during the time of King Henry VIII. If you could live in any other time period, what time period would each of you like to have lived in or live in?
Oh, I don't know. I think probably for me it would be the Neanderthals.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. No, I think the 19th century. Yeah, I think so.
I think for me it would be like more the 17th, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would have been more understood then.
Yes, and
But
you
we
are
should-
200 years older than I am.
Of course I am, darling.
How excited are you to be here today?
I am so excited, and I know nothing about it except the history of, Great Britain.
Yeah.
So,
What do you love about this time period? I'm fascinated about the Tudors and King Henry and Anne Boleyn and Jane Seymour.
well, I think it's sort of the first thing any of us know about royalty. We know Queen Elizabeth, and we know about her daddy. And because it captures the imagination. I mean, anybody named, Henry, who had 8 wives, and I grew up listening to the, Herman's Hermits. So, and my mother taught English, so I know, I'm really excited. I just can't wait to see that big, huge cast on that big, huge stage. I haven't been to the Winter Garden, I think, since Cats. The earliest version of Cats.
Totally.
Yeah.
But the importance of something like this, I mean, it's a double header, an epic, 2 parts of the same day.
I know. I was just saying to the line of photographers, I said, when have you done natural light for your red carpet? No, it's thrilling to be here, and the thought of having that nice break, it's like we're at the opera or something. I mean, it feels that big. So I'm really excited.
I was with Geneva Carr the other day for her opening of Hand to God.
Oh.
And she said you saw her dressing room
Oh my
at the
God.
booth and gave her the thumbs up.
Oh, I did. She had Zach's, and Steve had mine. And I said the Hand to God cast really has a little more decor going on than the Glass Menagerie cast.
I love it. This takes place during King Henry VIII. If you could live in any other time period, what time period would you have liked to have lived in?
Well, I do like, air conditioning. No, I think I definitely would have lived in the earlier part of the 20th century, only because of Broadway's golden age. To have been part of Broadway in the 40s and 50s would have been heavenly, when there were 250 plays opening every year, and it was all Arthur Miller and Eugene O'Neill and Tennessee Williams, but this is pretty good too. Broadway has come back. When I moved here in 1978, the ABCs were this big, and now it boggles the mind. A third of the theaters were dark year after year after year. So I still pinch myself when I come into Times Square and, do that salmon up a stream.
I would have been there with you.
I know, I'm a Henry VIII junkie, so I can't wait to see the whole arc of his life in one day.
I'm fascinated by this time period. I love this. What is it? Why do people fall in love with this whole time period?
Well, because it's really important rich people doing really stupid things, and it's fun to watch people be human, but on such a large scale, I think.
This is so brilliant. What have you heard about the production?
Absolutely nothing, and that's my favorite thing about seeing theater. I know nothing about it. I have no expectations, so I'm sure that they'll be more than exceeded,
Now, Bobby, if you could live in any other time period, since this takes place during King Henry VIII, what time period would you like to live in?
Oh, damn, that's a good question. I would have loved to be part of the whole colonial American experience, I think. Those guys were real badasses, settling the land here and fighting disease and land battles. I think that would have been really interesting to observe.
But would you want to have been one of the rich ones?
Well, obviously. I mean, I think the poor people got fucked, didn't they? Just like they always do. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the importance of something like this on Broadway, I mean, this is epic.
I think literate theater and historical theater are very important. Broadway is glutted with a bunch of entertaining musicals, but something like this needs a place in the American theater, or the English theater in this case, and it keeps theater relevant and educational,
How fascinated are you about this whole time period?
Oh, love it. I mean, I read the book, so I'm absolutely enamored with it. It's so completely different from everything that we deal with on a daily basis, so it's nice to see it come to life.
Yeah, it's a thrilling period for all of us who are. I'm also an Anglophile, so I really do enjoy it. It's nice to think about having lived in that period, but the reality of it is something completely different. And she's a wonderful novelist, and I'm very excited to see the ensemble. It's going to be a good day.
What have you heard about the show?
I haven't heard anything about the show, except I heard about it when it was in London. That it's a wonderful company and a terrific afternoon, evening, theater. So
how cool is this seeing? I'm coming today too. I mean,
Great.
to see a doubleheader all day long, living in this world.
I did a doubleheader in 1962 in Strange Interlude, which was the first Actors Studio production on Broadway. It was 9 acts long, and there was a break in between. The audience went to Sardi's for dinner and came back for the second half. So it's nice to be experiencing it from the other side.
Isn't this cool to be doing this, doing it with your dad?
It's fantastic. I absolutely love theater, and to get to come with him him and spend an entire day in the theater makes me more than happy.
You know, this takes place during the time of King Henry VIII. If you could live in any other time period, where would you want to live?
Well, we talked about this actually on the walk over. We used to have this romantic vision of this time period, and then you kind of see what it's really about, and it's a little bit rougher than we thought. So that's a tough question. I think I don't know, I'm happy where I am right now. Just today.
Yeah, well, the only other time period I would want to live in would be the 60s, but I already did that. So.
I love that, okay. So I was born in the 60s, but my grandmother started taking me to shows like in 1969.
Right.
So, but I just loved there were so many theaters back then.
Yeah,
I mean,
fabulous.
And like Cherry Jones had the ABCs, there were like,
36, 50 shows.
50 shows running.
Exactly, fabulous,
Just the importance of something like this, Jeffrey Richards bringing this to Broadway, what it means.
Yeah, well, I think that the continued porous boundary between British theater and American theater is one of the most exciting things that we have. We have two different countries, a shared heritage, a shared language, and very different theater, and it's wonderful that we get that rich mix. So.
It's been great having him back on stage this season. You were so brilliant, and you can't take it with you. You had the best time in that, didn't you?
I had the best time. It was bliss.
You're going to be working with James again.
Yeah, that was I don't think we can wait another 50-some years before we do it a third time. But
I don't think you'll have to.
No, good. I hope not.
How excited are you to be here today?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm really excited to see the show. I've heard wonderful things about it.
And to do a double header in the same day, because I'm going in there too. I can't wait to live all these hours in this world.
No, I love theater marathons. You really get sucked into the world, and you get a real strong sense of the arc of their stories, and you live with them for that time. It's the best. So I'm excited to be here too.
Are you fascinated about this time period?
Always. I mean, I'm always interested in history and learning more about who these people were and why they still matter to us today. So.
This takes place during the world of King Henry VIII. If you could live in any other time period, what time period would you like to live in? Because you've worked in so many different, watching you on screen and stage, you lived in all these different worlds.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really grateful to be alive right now. I feel really lucky that I get to live in other worlds for my daily work. So being alive right now is my time, and I'm glad to be here. So,
we lose you to TV and film. Would you like to come back to the stage?
I'm always looking to find something to come back and do. I love theater. It's something that I am focused on doing right now. So I'm excited to hopefully find something soon.
How excited are you to be here today?
I am so excited to be here today. I've been hearing about this, obviously, from all my friends in London, and I love that Jeffrey Richards brings these over, and we get to have the opportunity to see this beautiful production today. And to me, the fact that it's a bit of a marathon is very exciting. I love the idea of immersing myself in the theater all day, so I am super excited. And I love Broadway so much, so it's always for me just an opportunity to get to see great artists do great work.
What will it take us to get you back on stage again? We miss you.
Thank you. I'm looking for something that I want to do, and I would love to. So just I'm putting the word out. I'm really thrilled to. I've been away working for so long, and I am really excited to come home and get on the boards again. So hopefully soon.
How excited are you for today?
Quite excited. Yeah. I mean, it's brilliant. This is a proper Broadway opening, isn't it? And here we are with our two shows. Just hoping that they go down really well and that people really get all the hard work that we put into it. So fingers crossed for a successful day.
What have rehearsals been like for you here in New York?
Oh, fantastic. Everything's set up for, it's such a theatre city. Everything's set up for, your success. So we felt brilliantly supported. Our preview audiences have been fantastic. Much smarter between you and I than the audiences in London. They really get all the references. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's something to do with the people that are coming to the show are really interested in the history and laughing at all the very smart jokes. So we're delighted and flattered. It's great.
It's funny because I think it is your history. So over there, it's something that it's common knowledge for them. But here we've been fascinated by this for so long.
I think over there we take it all for granted, and I think it feels like it's just sort of in the air somehow. Whereas here people come towards it and come towards the stories in a slightly different way, which is great.
And the importance of having this on Broadway. Tell me what this all means to you.
Well, it's on a personal level as a theatre maker. You know, this is one of the places that you want to come and do your work, and you want to share it with the audiences and be part of that very lofty and wonderful tradition of drama on Broadway, which I think gets a bad rap at the moment because, you know, the received wisdom is that the Americans do musicals and Brits do drama. And, you know, I've always been obsessed with American drama, so it's wonderful to be here.
So when the company took their bow, their first preview here in New York, what were you thinking? Do you remember?
Well, just that we got through it and that no one had been sick. You know, that was kind of great.
You're a big company. It's a big company of actors.
Yeah, they're having the greatest time. The audiences just really welcome them. And because the audience gets to know them a little bit better than most shows because it's two different plays, you know, two separate plays. So it feels like at the end of the marathon day that an audience has, you know, they've got their favourite characters, they've got their favourite actors. It feels like there's a real to and fro between us and the audiences. So it's been pure pleasure so far.
How excited are you? You're on Broadway.
We are absolutely thrilled, and I know I speak for the whole cast. We are so excited to be here. We've been made so welcome, and we've had lovely audiences in preview, so our hopes are high.
What has this whole experience been like for you with working on this for the stage?
Oh, it's been a stellar experience. I've learned something every day. I've learned more in the last 2 years than in the previous 10 as a writer, and found a new role, I hope. I just love working in the theatre.
Well, the curtain's about to go up. I'm going to see you inside.